Okay, so I played around with the Sony ZvE1. It is pretty good, but I think it needs a proper drip check. I mean, we need to go over the pros, the cons, and the in-between, because we some bosses. And now, if you are new to the channel, first of all, hit that subscribe button, yo. And then second of all, drip check means just my honest opinion about the camera. And always remember, first of all, you are the drip. We don't we don't gear chase up in here. So my ninjas, always remember, you are the drip. And now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and grab a coffee, post up somewhere, because you know how thugs do, talk about the Sony ZvE1. Uh-oh, about to get hit. And now, speaking of coffee, if you want to buy me a coffee, Pippin, don't be shy. The link is down below. But if not, no tea, no shade, because I ain't a hater, and my hood will never let me be a hater. Now let's talk about some pros of the Sony ZvE1. And we don't even have to wait for the calls. We bosses. Now, starting with the pros, the first pro has to be the build quality as well as the weight. Now, in the first impression video, I was genuinely shocked when I took this camera out of the box and just felt how light it was, especially when comparing it to the Sony A7s III as well as my Sony ZvE1. Again, I just was not expecting how light the camera was. And then when it comes to build quality, I thought it looked a bit cheap, but to be honest, it was actually the opposite. I mean, it is really well built. Now, the body is not made out of the same materials as like the Sony A7s III, but it's really close. Again, just completely surprised with how well the camera is built. Like, it's solid. Another pro of the Sony ZvE1 has to be the audio. And I knew the audio was good, but it is definitely like the best the Sony ZvE1 has the best internal mic I have ever heard on a camera. It is that good. You can literally get away with just the internal mic. And trust me, Pimpin', your boy Sky Money loves some good audio. So I'm just saying, like, it's good. And now the next pro I have on the list is the stabilization. When looking back at the footage, the stabilization is surprisingly good. And I think it also helps that the camera is just so light, because when I shot the last video, I had stabilization on maybe 2% of the video. Everything else, stabilization was completely turned off, and I just handheld it. But you can do that because the camera is just so light. And then when actually using the active as well as the dynamic active stabilization, it's still pretty good. I mean, when I look at the B-roll shots and the walking footage that I got, it is good. Because when you're walking, it looks like you're just floating. And I really like the introduction of the dynamic stabilization. That is, they keep pushing it, and I like the push. Sony, keep doing what you do. So yes, Pimpin', stabilization is a plus. Dang, look at all these people down here. Oh, I was gonna go down there and film, but nah, I think I'm good. Now, another pro of the Sony ZvE1 has to be the simplicity of the camera. Like, I have never really used a camera this simple besides the Sony ZvE1. And Pimpin', I'm just being real. Like, we don't need all the buttons. We don't need the second SD card slot. To be real, when it comes to just creating a video and just getting what you need to get, you don't need all that. And I think this camera just does it so well. Like, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the term, like, less is more, like that quote. But for somebody like me or just any other creator just looking to make videos, like, less is definitely more. And that's where the Sony ZvE1 really kills it. And now I got one more big pro. But before we even talk about that last pro, I gotta do a couple of honorable mentions. And the honorable mentions are that it's a full frame camera and this small, lightweight body. The image quality is solid. Like, I mean, just having the sensor from the Sony A7s III alone, as well as having a new AI chip in it, like, yeah, the image quality is boss. Plus all the AI features that the camera has, as well as they put the SD card slot on the side of the camera and not where the battery goes, because that's one thing I really didn't like about the Sony ZvE1. I hated the SD card slot. And then the last honorable mention had to be the touchscreen. The full functional touchscreen is good as well. But my last pro, the pro that really got it for me, that would have to be the zoom function on the Sony ZvE1. That is by far my favorite thing about the camera, and it is a huge pro for the Sony ZvE1. And now if you didn't watch the first impression video, go ahead and watch the first impression video. Not yet, no, not yet. After I go over the cons, go watch that video and watch the optical image zoom. Like, just look at it. Because although the camera is digitally zooming in, you are not losing quality. I don't see any quality loss like you would see on the Sony A7S III as well as any other camera that I have. Okay, just look at the zoom, and see if there's any image quality loss. Like, I don't see nothing. Okay, let's try it again. Look, try it again. That's without the zoom, 17 mil. And then look at that. And I'm in focus, like. And now my ninjas, I don't know how they pulled this off, but they did. And it works extremely well. Like, it is solid. That's why it's my favorite Pro. Like, I cannot believe that they pulled it off. And it's amazing. And now let's get into the not so good things about the Sony ZvE1, because there are a few, there's a couple. Ooh. Now if I ever show up at your spot in that yellow Ferrari, don't be looking all confused. Okay, now we gotta talk about the cons of the new Sony ZvE1, because there are a few of them. And now the first con is the obvious one, and that is the price. Coming in at $2,200, I do think it is still a little expensive. Well, I mean, until I bought it in Europe, because it is extremely expensive here. It is running, here in Europe, it is running for about 2,700 euro. That's about $3,000. This actually might be a little bit more than $3,000. So yeah, my ninjas, I do think the price is a bit much. I think just under 2,000 would have been perfect. That would have been a solid price for the Sony ZvE1. But I kind of understand the price though, especially the time that we're in. Not to mention just the package alone of what you're getting inside this camera. It is good. I just think, I think they would sell a lot more if the price was a little bit lower. All right, and now my next con is the record sound. When you press the record button, I don't know, there's a sound that comes out of the camera like the Sony ZvE1, and I don't know how to turn this off. I don't mind the sound, but I kind of want to turn it off. I don't know how to. And now the next con is the battery life. Now battery life isn't bad, but it's not as good as the Sony A7S III. I noticed that like on a regular shoot, I'll usually have maybe 50% left on the Sony A7S III versus on this, yeah, it was maybe 40 or maybe even 30%. No, I would say about 40%. So the battery does seem to drain just a little bit faster on the Sony ZvE1. And now I'm not saying you can't get a full day. You could definitely get a full day out of it. I just noticed that it just tends to run the battery just a little bit faster than the Sony A7S. And then I got one more, and that would be the placement of the 1/4" thread. Now, because it is placed at such an awkward location, it's near the edge of the body. And since it's near the edge of the body, when you put something on like a Joby Gorilla Pod or put it on a tripod, you get sort of a give on it here. And now it's not bad, but I just realized it when I was recording the vlog the other day. I noticed that on the Joby Gorilla Pod, you could see the camera kind of moving. And that was the only thing, and I think it's because the placement of it is a bit off. Like it's not centered, it's more to the edge. So that is, I think that is a con for me too as well. But for the most part, man, I gotta say, like, it is a solid camera. The cons weren't even that bad. I mean, this is the first time I could sum up all the cons of a camera in like one sentence. So yeah, overall, it is it's a solid little camera. Like, and it is powerful. Like, damn, the image quality is, I mean, y'all saw it. Look at the video. You saw it. So if you're looking for something new and you got the bag for it and you've already wore out what you already have, then yeah, the Sony ZvE1, it is a good buy. All right, all done with work, man. Jeez, what a long day. Stayed a bit late today because we had a bunch of meetings. Tuesdays and Thursdays are the busiest. Wow, and look how freaking nice it is today. Look at that sky. Man. But yeah, Pippin, that is it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you want to buy me a coffee, don't be shy. The link is down below. And also, make sure you comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of the brand new Sony ZvE1. I think the camera is solid. I mean, it is, look at at the image. Bam. But yeah, the camera's solid. My favorite feature has to be the clear image zoom. It's freaking amazing, but I want to know what you guys think, so like them comments up. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Actually, you know what? I thought I parked my bike right here, but I forgot that I parked it way down there. Sky money getting lost in the sauce. All right, now quick side note, I bet y'all didn't know, but this is the first vlogger. He was Dutch. Look at that drip. And he got the piece on the hip. I'm pretty sure the Dutch invented vlogging.